People, deluded, I'm back again. Obviously, I just come off Zoom with my good friend Aaron West. He's a United fan, type his YouTube name in, support his team, share up all his stuff. He's very good at his role, respectively, to United. And we were speaking in relation to, sadly, people, what's going on globally with the racism thing and discrimination. And I'm sure a lot of you lot are seeing it in England, sadly, where people are trying their best to make it a race war, to make it, you know, this versus that and that versus this, when it should just be logical people versus these fucking racist people, regardless of who they are, in it. So shout out to you lot, because I already know you lot got common sense. And, you know, seeing what I'm seeing at the protest, people of all different backgrounds, sexes, and, you know, whatever they stand for, uniting against discrimination. Don't let them make it a race thing. Don't let Tommy Robertson as well, not to give this idiot clout, don't let Tommy Robertson make it a thing. Even the thing with saying smashing up war memorials. No one's smashing up war memorials. People are taking down slave things. Forget all these slave things, people. Bring it all down. If you want the slave thing to stay out, but you know what? Fuck you, bro. Because you know what? The slave thing, take it all down. You know, Cecil Rose, take him down. Bad man, real bad man in the wrong way. Would love to, you know, in the afterlife, you know, before God tells me and brings me to heaven, you know, if he lets me one-on-one that I'm gonna bang him, people. I don't know, Mazza. But like I said, on a serious note, don't let Tom, didn't even say his name right, but you know what I'm talking about. Don't let Robertson and Katie Hopkins and Nigel Farage and all these idiots just trying to make it into something is not, people. Don't let them. Once again, everyone who is sensible against racist people, simple as, people. Moving away from that, it brought me on to something that I saw Anthony Joshua getting a lot of heat from. And I think it's a case of, if you're not necessarily black, or if you don't necessarily want to understand and you're being deliberately obtuse, go away from my channel now. But for those that want to understand and were legitly concerned about his comments because of their lack of education, they haven't gone under yet, please stay with me. He mentioned black ownerships. He mentioned black pride. He mentioned things like that. For those who don't understand what black pride is, and those that are not necessarily black, again, please, if you're intentionally obtuse, move from my channel. But those of you that, the majority of my people that subscribe to me, I've lost some subscribers because of these vids, but most of you got common sense and most of you seek equality and stuff. So those who don't necessarily want to learn something, stay with me. Yeah, the thing is, yeah, the first mistake a lot of people that aren't necessarily black make with, when people talk about black pride in particular, people, they link it to white supremacy. Yes, there's race idiots of all people that, oh, white people are the best, we should stay being the best, black people the best, stay being the best, Asian are the best, when we're all equal. Apologies, people. When we're all equal, again, I don't know what happened there, people. We came, Zoom's copying another video that I done with my guy, and it took me out. Apologies. Like I was saying, where we're all equal, I was a bit weird there, where we're all equal regardless of who we are, what we stand for, and things like that. We judge people, on man and woman, on their merits, yeah. But when you've been discriminated against as a people, like, even, listen, obviously racism's prevalent, but I can go on the street and I'm not necessarily chased and these things because of my skin color. Things have changed, but things are still prevalent. Racism and degrading someone because of their skin color isn't necessarily blurting out derogatory terms in their face. It's, you know, every time, and black women in particular as well, people, I get it, but black women in particular, when they're not speaking or they're reluctant to speak or they're shy, they're seen as antisocial. They think they're too nice, think they're better than everyone. When they stand up for themselves and they speak, they're seen as troublesome. They're seen as can't be trusted and things like that. And it's also the subtle things, you know, especially, obviously I'm Caribbean, so sadly I don't have what could have been my legit ancestors' names in it. I've got a slave master's name, essentially, people. But those of my brothers and friends and stuff, I call them brothers because they might as well be, that are of African descent, you know, it's breaking down. They might have been given an African first name, you know, and obviously have their last name. It's teaching them to hate that. It's teaching them to be jealous, to be upsetting about that. It's parents having to name kids in certain names so that doesn't happen. It's the little things like that. It's every time that little kid with the African first and last name goes into school and the teachers there, you know, kids are cruel in it. Kids will carry on a certain way, but that's one thing. But it's the school teacher that can't pronounce his name, but then they can say Targaryen and all these mad names and all these things. It starts with that. It starts with calling people's, obviously scruffy hair is scruffy hair, but you have scruffy dreads, but labeling dreadlocks in particular scruffy is not true. I've seen brothers with nice, I wish my hair was all long and them thing there, nice dreads and that, looking sweet. Like, you know, when I like single plaits and dreads in it, I had single plaits, but I always wanted dreads in it, but it just didn't work out. Nice dreads, all clean up good. Unprofessional women, unprofessional little kids told to cut it off. They're taught to hate themselves. You're taught to not feel like anything. You're taught that your physical features, you know, the lips being broader, you know, your hair, you're taught to hate yourself. You're seeing things like blackface. You're seeing that what's that holiday they do in Holland where they dress up in black? You're taught to hate yourself. You're taught to hate one another more or less, and you're taught to hate each other. That's why there's things as colorism. That's why there's all these things prevalent. Black pride is not saying they're better than someone. It's not saying I'm better than a white guy, I'm better than this. It's me being proud of that. These, you don't need to bleach your skin. You don't need to, you know, you're black, I'm proud. If you're African, Caribbean, wherever you're from, you're proud of yourself. You're proud of one another. You're just as good as somebody else. It shouldn't be, that's what it should be. We shouldn't live in a world where people are having to name their children certain names for fears of them being rejected, applying for certain jobs, knowing you're not getting it, applying for certain jobs, looking on the website, knowing diversity is not a thing here, it's not going to happen. It's being in spots and knowing you can't necessarily speak up. And if you're prepared to speak up, you're seen as aggressive, you're seen as that. There's all these labels, because that happens to me, really and truly. I'm always fearful of that. It's about being proud of yourself. In relation to black ownership, he's clearly speaking about, you look at statistically, it is harder for black people to get loans. There's several things to stop being an entrepreneur. And that's something I would like to change, because again, people commit crimes of all genres. But looking back at my school life, the man them didn't really have an uncle or auntie that owned the pub, owned the little shop where, you know, where you're 14, 15, they say, come there, work weekends, we'll throw you little £1,500. Obviously, £50, £100 is a lot of money to a little youth. There's none of that. So, you know, there's certain other options and things like that. And stuff like that. And it's sad. It's simply just rising up, being proud of yourself. And if you have a problem with anyone being proud of themselves, there's issues. There's nothing wrong with being white and being proud to be British. There's nothing wrong with that. Obviously, history, you got, you know, certain things that would move it mad. But on a serious note, you know, there's nothing wrong with being proud of that. There's nothing wrong. As long as you realize that doesn't, whether you're proud of being black, proud of being white, proud of being this, proud of being that, that doesn't make you any less or worse than somebody, and you can acknowledge that people are equal. It is that. The problem is with life, everybody wants to believe there's something they're not. I'm better than somebody. Nobody wants to. People don't want to be equal, and it's sad. So if you genuinely have a problem with what Joshua might have said about black pride and stuff like that, I'd like to think if you just saw that and felt threatened and thought it was a racist thing, then I've taught you something. If you're being what I believe some of you are, deliberately obtuse, then you know it is what it is in that regard. If you have a problem with black ownership, there's nothing wrong. You can have your problem, but it should be a thing. You know, control your coins. How many times are black people predominantly buying from brands and they're like, oh, they're racist, and people still going to buying it? It's until you snap out of that thinking, and you can't tell me anything. And being black ownership is taking ownership of your finances. Go and type in how to sell to the Negro people. It was made in 1958 or something like that, which is, some of you that watch me and salute my thing are old enough to have been alive them times there. I'm a 95 baby. So them things there are being said. As racism is prevalent. Racism is not something that they always try to tell you in school. It was so long ago. It's not so long ago. It's that happened over time. You have to know history, what history has done to lead us to what today is. Because I wish the history lessons in school were poor. Like I wasn't necessarily told about anything Britain done, and the statue thing made me think. How many times have I walked past a statue? The Docklands. I was there for work the other day. Well, before this corona thing, I walked past that statue. I didn't stop and read and think what it was, but looking back, it's pretty chilling. Like, this guy, you know, you can work out working on the docks, cargo, which sadly what black people were taught as. It's sad. It's sad. It's sad, and people, especially within British society, or every British person, myself included, like to be comforted by lies. Look at Churchill. People don't want to admit the truth over Churchill, the famine he caused and all of these sort of things. And I've probably lost how many subscribers because of that. I don't care. I'm always going to speak about black issues or any sort of discrimination because it's what's right to do. You know, those of you that don't want to do it, especially YouTubers, that's cool. That's also picking a side. But I'm always going to speak about what's right and wrong. I know I've used Anthony Joshua as an example, but this is mine. If you have a problem with black pride and stuff like that, you've got an issue. Like, there's actually nothing wrong with that. Again, it's the content. For those of you that genuinely want to learn something, don't attach the connotations of white supremacy and white pride. Historically, you can be proud of being white, of course, but you know, KKK, all of these things are the things that come with, you know, white pride and things like that. History doesn't say the same for black pride. It doesn't. It doesn't. It really doesn't. It's about being treated as equal. We're treated less worse than animals at a point. And today in Britain, of course, we're not to a degree. I can go and get roles and things like that, but I'm still discriminated against. There's still subtle comments in the workplace and in general that I've had to go through. Do you get it? There's still racism by the police, and nobody can tell me that racial profiling isn't a thing. How can I got a cut somewhere on my face, and that's why I'll always have an issue with police. Cut on my face. I was in school riding a bike, people, school times. It's 6-week holiday. I'm riding a bike on Bounce This Road. Fed falls me off the bike. What are you doing? Suspicion that you match the description of drugs and this and that. I'm 12, 11 years of age. So I'm naive as hell, really and truly. I'm thrown off the bike, bikes cutting, police acting like they didn't do that. Not even give a man a tissue. They're asking me why am I riding a bike? It's like it's summer holidays. Don't get cheeky with me. It's things like this. I've been stopped wearing a suit, people. The other day I was stopped suit, Sainsbury's coming back from work. It's like, oh, there's been and there's a thing, police need to improve their dialogue with people with the community, because I can see how things happen. There's been an attempted murder, you match the description, so we're coming and speaking with you, like in an aggressive tone, like, what are you on about? Like, relax. It's the racial profiling, it's the discrimination in the workplace, it's the statistics, it's even big up the NHS. But and I'm not criticizing them, because a lot of my people then work there, because listen, no matter what they say, we rebuilt the NHS. Black people rebuilt this country. You sent and called over for people to go do that. Let's not lie about it. And you're still kicking people out. Shout out to the Windrush generation. You'll get justice one day. But statistically, look at the birth rates with black kids. Black women are all susceptible to all sorts of things in comparison to other people. And that goes back in history with, you know, we don't feel as much pain. We don't feel as much emotion as people. There's issues within medical, there's issues within sport, there's issues within the job place, there's issues within society. Walking down the street, I have been stopped on my road with Sainsbury's bags looking like a waste, man, because, you know, they jump out at you. There's bare of them, people looking out the windows, you're looking like a criminal, you're feeling degraded. You know, half of these police never got no pussy in school, so they're on a madness half the time, just charged up and abusing their power. I remember, like, one was like, we're going to arrest you because I'm holding my key. I said, no, I'm putting my key in my pocket. Like, you can search me, I'm putting my key in my pocket. The guy's holding the top of the key like that. I'm saying, we didn't. Like, this is the sort of things they try and do. But you have to know how to maneuver it. And I don't think society is fair. No one can tell me there's not a problem, because it's normal. And what's sad, it's normalized within the black community to tell people you have to work twice as hard. Not because you want to be naturally working twice as hard, you get more results. Look at Cristiano Ronaldo. But not necessarily because of that. Because of your skin color, you're told that there's going to be many situations you're going to be right to be aggrieved and feel angry, but you're going to be demonized. It's these sort of things. It's being told about your hair. And even if I go back to school times, hey, I wish I could call my guy Tony, because if you didn't believe me, I could get Tony. We've sat down and got in trouble, and they're like, why is it always you black kids? Why is it always you black kids? The neighbors are saying all of this and that. Well, what going for that? Shout out to Winchmore, Miss Mansbridge. You know you said that in school as well. And obviously, Miss Dickey, you know you was her name was Miss Dickey. We used to laugh at that in school. Her name really was Miss Dickey. She was another one. I think she's bust out to Australia now. She patterned up when she returned to the school, but she was a bit mad. But finally, listen, like I said, don't let them turn this into a class war and race war and all of these sort of things. It's everyone who's for justice, fight for justice, whether it's your white, black, man, woman, gay, straight, whatever you are, you know, in society, you can identify as whatever you want. I don't offend no one. Whatever you identify is, stand up for what's right and stand up for what's wrong. Don't let these ignorant folk turn it into something. Do you get it? And nobody's hands are perfect in this, and I'm speaking directly in relation to what's going on in society as well. It's sad. We're fighting to be human. Like, why is it such a problem for black people to not want to be killed because of their skin color? Like, even with the criminal thing, you sadly seen a number of black people sadly lost their lives in America over the color of their skin. And you said, oh, he was selling fake cigs, or he sold a fake note. When did having fake notes or whatever equate having to lose your life? Okay, arrest man, send man to the jailhouse, and what shall be, shall be. If he was a criminal, he's a criminal. But what does that mean you have to die? Why? Come on, people, fix up, man. Like I said, the majority of people that rock with my thing are sensible. You always get clowns in the comments of these videos. You're always going to get intentionally obtuse twats. Anyone that genuinely hates someone because of their race, nationality, and things, I pity them. They need a punch in the face, but I pity them, because that's sad. That's sad. If you're going to hate someone for legitimate reasons. Don't hate or attach your love automatically to someone because of less or more pigment. You probably find you have more in common. with someone, but you don't want to see that. And it's sad. It's sad. And what's sad for me is that I'm seeing a lot of people around my age and younger that's on this sort of thing as well. And, you know, we're at the age where people are starting to have kids, and I'm seeing children being taught these ignorant views and stuff like that. It's a madness, people. It's scary what the society we're living in. But the good thing is there's a lot of good people in society. There's a lot of people that aren't twats, which is the majority of you lot. I've got nothing more to say, so I'm going to keep it moving. On that note, though, people, DG, I'm out. Take care. Please stay respectful and loveful for everyone. I'm out, man. Football can be a great... football's obviously, before I go, football's obviously got issues with racism, but football's a great thing. We all unite for our football team or playing the game. It doesn't matter. Sad thing about football, there's racists that would probably tell you they hate black people, but Thierry Henry is the best ever footballer, or probably a racist ghost trying to kill me right now. But or people that will tell you, a Liverpool racist Liverpool fan might say, oh, I hate black people, but I love John Barnes. Or I'm pretty sure there's racist Chelsea fans who love Drogba, or racist Spurs fans who love Jermaine Defoe, and United and Bournemouth and all this, every club, Aston Villa, you know, every club probably has them. And it's sad that people hate on someone because of the color of their skin. And I will say, in fact, finally, black is powerful, black is beautiful. All my black people out there, don't let anyone make you feel less of a person because of the color of your skin. Your melanin is what makes you amazing. Yeah, I'm out, man.